My name's Karen Vaughn, and I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. And I have been a person with a disability for the last 33 years. And of course, when I was young, I knew nothing about any legislative activities or laws that would allow an individual with a disability to have any kind of civil rights, because I stayed in several nursing homes, and at that time there were no patients' rights. And when I went through Partners in Policymaking in 1992, I learned that there were more than just rights. We had civil rights on just about every level. And I was extremely interested in making sure that the state parks were accessible to anybody with a disability, because on the back of the brochure it said, for the average citizen, we want our properties to be, enjoyable. And that irritated me, that I felt excluded. I know I'm not the average, but I wanted to do everything possible. And 1992 was the perfect time to go through training, because that gave me the opportunity to get more training from DREDF, the Disability Rights Education Defense Fund. It's the most elite training on the ADA that you can get, and it was eye-opening. And to be able to take an actual sheet of paper around to a state park where I'd already been, where raccoons wouldn't go, it was January, and help the park managers do their compliance plans, was pretty awesome. It felt like I had a little bit of power. And actually we had a lot of power. We just weren't as organized as we should have been. But to see the fact that even the parks had to have a plan to accommodate any needs that folks with disabilities had, that was wonderful. Just because of what the Americans with Disabilities Act has done with giving public access, we have the right to get on the bus, just like the average person, and not have specialized transportation. We have that right. We should have the right to have a lot more, and Indianapolis is working hard on trying to catch up, because they're going to have the Super Bowl in a couple of years, and they don't know how to. I live downtown now, and you would think that this being the capital of the state, it would be totally accessible. Well, all the curb cuts are more like curb slants, and what I would consider accessible and what someone walking around considers accessible is many times two different things, and they're going through modifications right now, and unfortunately you don't know what curb cuts are going to be inaccessible until you get to the end of the sidewalk, and there's barrels and everything. And so they're going through a large renovation here in Indianapolis now. And what year is this? Better late than never. But of course they've just been awarded most visitable city in the country. And if Indianapolis is the most visitable, and they're talking about by people with disabilities, I'm really sad for the rest of the country. I would like them to live up to that most visitable. I would like them to have level sidewalks, have doors that you can go to through the front. I have to go around the back of my bank up through the alley, and I have to access a major bank downtown through the back door. I mean, that's what we're used to, so some of us are very compliant. And what I would really like to see is the legislators, a mandated, I'd like to see them, training. I mean, actual training. I'd like to see them go out on the curb cuts using wheelchairs and trying to get on the elevators and not come away with the idea of, oh, what a terrible way of life, but, oh, we really need to fix this. And everything boils down to money. And once they see that somebody could fall out and hurt themselves and sue the city, maybe that spurs things along. But actually having equal access to things, most people think that if you have an apartment. I've moved into an apartment downtown recently, and I just knew that because the Americans with Disabilities and ANSI and all the ASCII and all the guidelines are set, that they couldn't possibly make someone carry me down the stairs in case of a fire. Well, knowing about the Americans with Disabilities Act is not enough. You have to know about the other laws. That's the fair housing law that covers that. And then there's the fact that the voting, is no longer covered under the ADA. It's covered under HAVA. So when I went to my polling place the other day for a special election, they were going through renovations, and there was no notification that the polling place was somewhere else. They couldn't tell us where, but it was somewhere else. And you call one of the headquarters of a political party, and they said, well, the address is 120 Walnut. Just go down Delaware, you'll find it. And unfortunately, we found it, but the machines automatically shut off at 6 o'clock. So it's, and it's my right to vote. I've got the right to vote. I got the right to get up on the sidewalk and get in. But then that's a HAVA problem. So you just have to keep informed. After my injury, I was fortunate enough to have a van, and I would go wherever. That was back in the late 70s. And when I would go out, I would be the only person in the shopping mall or wherever I went that used a wheelchair. And now, and we all look alike, so, but there's a lot of people out. I mean, a lot. I used to get so excited if I saw somebody going down the street using a wheelchair. I thought, oh my gosh, there's some other crazy person out. But just the way that children are growing up now, and they're growing up in inclusive classes, and you got a shot at having whatever a normal life is, at least having a job, having a family. We've always had the right to that, but we've got a law that says we have the right to go out and pursue these things.